it's too dangerous to allow you to board a flight, then it ought to be too dangerous to allow you to purchase a weapon.
Arizona Senator Jeff Flake says he, in collaboration with seven other U.S. senators, have the answer, maybe, to the growing gun debate, a little more than a week after the Orlando nightclub massacre that left 49 innocent people dead. Senator Flake taking his support for a bipartisan proposal being dubbed No Fly, No Buy to the Senate floor and to the public. It is aimed to keep weapons out of the hands of people who are on the no-fly list. But it comes on the heels of 4 gun control bills voted down by the Senate on Monday. Joining us on the phone to discuss more about this particular measure is our senator from Arizona, Republican Jeff Flake. Sir, thank you so much for your time this morning. You say that this proposal possibly could have stopped the Orlando gunman. How so?
Well, we have what's called a 5-year look-back provision. The Orlando gunman was on the so-called selectee list, but that had lapsed and he was no longer on it. Under our legislation, had our legislation been in place, the FBI would have been notified when he attempted to make a gun purchase. So they could have possibly intervened at that point.
You opposed all but one of the measures that were voted down on Monday. So how is this different than some of those other legislations proposed?
Well, you know, the votes we had the other day were all kind of designed to fail. It was kind of both sides.
Mm-hmm.
You know, having measures that we all knew would not have sufficient votes to get cloture. The only way to pass something in the Senate is to work on a bipartisan basis, and this is simply an effort to try to make sure that terrorists can't, have access to weapons. And I think narrowing it down to a defined list, the no-fly list,
mm-hmm.
and the so-called selectee list, is a small enough list to deal with effectively. And as long as you put the due process proceedings so that nobody is denied a constitutional right, then we have, I think, a good piece of legislation.
The bipartisan support obviously makes this bit of legislation stand out potentially. But in today's political climate, the bipartisan word is almost a dirty word. So what are your concerns about the political fallout of standing alongside some Democrats in support of a proposal that the NRA has already called unconstitutional?
Well, in the Senate, you have to have 60 votes to do almost anything. And we Republicans only have 54 votes. And so if you want to get something done, you need to reach across the aisle, and this is overdue. This isn't going to stop every terrorist attack. Nobody is pretending that. But it will give the FBI a few more tools to identify those who would do us harm. And I just don't think you can justify putting somebody on a no-fly list, but then telling them you can go out and buy a gun.
Americans for Responsible Gun Solutions, or Responsible Solutions, founded by former Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords and her husband, astronaut Mark Kelly, say the proposal is far from perfect, but they do welcome the proposal nonetheless. I know that they are friends of yours. Did you speak directly with them about this or about the Orlando shootings?
Yes, I did call Mark and spoke with him yesterday about this proposal and let him know the details of it. And he did mention, he would obviously like to see it go further, but sees it as a positive step.
Well, Senator, we really appreciate your time.